Welcome to our Behind the Mic with MAB podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Fontaine. Join me as I chat with vibrant radio hosts, intriguing television personalities, and the brilliant minds behind TV and radio stations in our broadcast community. Today, I am with RaMona Alexander, a powerhouse in the broadcasting world, whose leadership has shaped media across Mississippi and beyond. With more than 30 years of experience, RaMona shares her journey from Jackson, where she has her roots, to becoming vice president and general manager of WDBD Fox 40, along with her impact on industry leadership at the national level. And this conversation goes deeper than titles and accolades, of which she has lots of them. RaMona opens up about the responsibility of leadership, the importance of community partnerships, and how staying grounded in purpose has guided her through decades of success. From boardrooms to neighborhoods, her story is a masterclass in influence, resilience, and legacy. Welcome, RaMona.
Wow. Amanda, is that me? I love the introduction, so thank you.
Oh, my goodness, you are so deserving. Absolutely, that's you.
So, what do you want to know?
I just want to know all about RaMona.
I tell people all the time, I am just a country girl from Jackson, Mississippi. I have very humble beginnings. I grew up in Georgetown community in Jackson. I'm a proud Lanier Bulldog graduate, 833 for life. Kid of educators. My parents really taught me a lot. And growing up in Jackson, Mississippi, especially during the Civil Rights Movement, you understood the importance of education. And I think the most important thing my parents taught me was that every human is the same. And regardless to how you treat it, remember that everybody bleeds the same way. And we all have to put our pants on the same way. We all have to go to the bathroom every day. Everybody's the same. But how you deal with everybody, because human nature dictates how each person might be. So you have to learn how to adjust. And the foundation that my parents gave me, it lives with me every single day. And I grew up in the church, the Catholic Church, Holy Ghost Catholic Church, the oldest and the first Black Catholic church in the state of Mississippi. And it was founded by St. Catherine Drexel, and she's from Philadelphia. And I got a chance to know a lot about her when I lived in Philly. But my beginnings are just about working hard, good family, believing in yourself, having faith, and listening to everybody on your journey. And so I've learned from everybody, from my elementary school teacher to the people that I see every day, and from you, Amanda, from everybody.
Well, I was just thinking that about you, RaMona. I did not know that your parents were teachers. And I'm sitting here thinking about it, and I'm like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. And I see you as a mentor for so many, and in a teaching role for so many people as well.
Well, one of the things that I have learned on my journey is that you have to reach back, and that when you're blessed with so many wonderful opportunities, and when you're blessed with certain talents or knowledge or whatever, there's a responsibility that you've got to bring the next generation along. And so I think growing up, my family business, I tell anybody, is education. There are educators on every single level in my family. I am the only person that went into sales, the only one. Everybody has taught whether it was my siblings have been teachers and professors, and some of them work in mental health, but I'm the only one that went into sales. I took a different road. I took the road less travel. However, those basic foundations that I got from my parents, they stick with me, and yeah, I think it's my responsibility. I think it's my responsibility to bring the next generation along. The path and the journey has not been easy, and I will tell anyone that any success that I have, and I am very humble about that. Sometimes the people who helped me along the way did not look like me. And I've been very blessed to understand that not everybody that brings you along, that mentors you, that teaches you is going to look like you. However, most of the rooms that I'm in every single day, there's nobody that looks like me. So it's a very tough balance. And but I'm very blessed. And I stay grounded in my faith. And every single day, I wake up and I look in the mirror and I ask the good Lord, how should I show up today? Teach me how to show up. Teach me how to be who I need to be so that I can be what I need, the servant that I need to be to you.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
That is not my normal morning prayer, but I love that. I think I'm going to incorporate that. Most mornings when I pray, I have my prayer list. And
Hmm.
then I actually pray over every meeting or every person
Hmm.
that I'm meeting with that day. But I think I'm going to change mine some tomorrow and add that. I love it.
Yeah. How am I going to show up? And when I mentor young people, especially, I emphasize that. How are you going to show up today? How are you going to show up when you meet someone? What person are they going to see? And when I go to meetings, anywhere that I go, anything that I do, that's my focus. I ask the Lord, give me the wisdom and the knowledge to be who I need to be today, And so far, so good. And I'm very blessed. I'm very fortunate. I love my life, and I love what I do. And I do editorials, so I like to keep it real. So I might keep some things real doing this podcast.
And that is perfect. That's what we want you to do. So tell me about your favorite editorial that you've done. Speaking of that.
Wow. You know, I like the purpose of the editorials for me are two things. It's to get a conversation starting, to get people talking about something that matters in our community. And when I talk about our community, I don't mean just the Jackson metropolitan. We cover, 24, 25 counties. We cover a big swath of the state. So I like to talk about things that impacts the community as a whole. And I like to get people talking about it. And whether it's a political issue, whether it's a healthcare issue, whether it's something fun, like, the sports, because, Mississippi, we love our sports. Um, I try to tap into um, things that talk about things that impact our community. And it amazes me and it amazes my family because when I'm out in public, people call me the Fox 40 lady. But it's very important that we have those conversations. And I think the most fascinating thing I've talked about right now, I'm really disappointed in our legislators that they could not figure out a way to get pay raises for our children. I mean, not for our children, for our teachers. I mean, I think it's ridiculous. Mississippi, they've always been the lowest paid teachers in the country. They still continue to be the lowest paid. They work their butts off. I mean, my parents were educators, so I can really speak to this. And I have a lot of friends that are teachers, but they work. It's not a 9-to-5 job. A lot of them supplement their job, their livelihood, with second and third jobs. They have to buy supplies out of their own pockets. And the legislators, we can figure out how to get all these data centers here, for economic development, but the people, the children who have to be trained and taught to work eventually in these data centers, we won't pay the teachers who got to do that. And that's ridiculous to me. That is just ridiculous. I don't understand how we cannot get it together in the legislator, and his understanding is not a partisan issue. It's a House and it's a Senate issue. The House will pass one form of the bill when the legislature was in session, and then it goes to the Senate, and then the Senate modifies it. And it went from a $6,000 raise to a $2,000 raise. And now the cost of living has gone up, so that $2,000 raise, when you factor out the taxes and the health insurance and everything that comes out, it's a pity raise. And I just think it's ridiculous. And I couldn't do an editorial about it yesterday. I'm going to be in Vegas next week. But when I come back, excuse me, I'm going to talk about that. I think it's just ridiculous that we cannot pay our teachers.
I can tell that you are very passionate about it.
Yes, I think it's ridiculous. And they have to constantly get educated. They have to constantly go back to school, excuse me, for continuing education that they pay for out of their pockets. The state does not pay for them to go get a master's or a specialist degree or a PhD. They don't pay for that. But they have to pay for that. We have these stringent guidelines, and we want the best. And we want the best that's available. And yet, let me see if I have a cough drop. And yet, we won't pay them anything. And I don't understand that, Amanda. And if a politician's listening to me, I want to hear why it does not happen. Because you guys don't get it. And I wonder how many of our politicians will go and visit and spend time in a classroom. I wonder if the governor ever goes to spend time in a classroom. But the teachers' assistants, the maintenance folks, the cooks, these people don't make any money. But we entrust them with our most precious cargo every single day, and it's our kids. So I beat that horse a lot on this podcast, but that's something that's just really bugging me and that I'm passionate about. And I know that there are a lot of teachers and educators and parents who feel the same way. And we have a teacher shortage. We have a teacher shortage. We don't pay them. And you can retire in the state of Mississippi and go across the state line and make so much more money than you make in Mississippi. Or I can graduate from college and go to another state and make more money. So we're having a brain drain because we will not pay our teachers. And we wonder why we're on the bottom. And I love Mississippi. I love Jackson. I love where I'm from. I'm very proud to be where I'm from because some of the best people that I know and some of the smartest people that I know and some of the kindest people that I know, we're a hospitality state, are from right here. And everybody that moves here, they discover that we are a really wonderful secret that Mississippi is a great place to live. But it's things like not taking care of our teachers gives us a bad reputation.
Well, we definitely know what your editorial is going to be about when you get back from Vegas.
Yes.
And we will be going to Vegas together at the end of this week.
Yes, we will.
So tell them what we're going to in Vegas.
We're going to the National Association of Broadcasters Convention, and it is like one of the largest conventions in the world where technology, where broadcasters, where politicians, where everyone meets to discuss the power of television, the power of communication, and the power of what we do every single day. And that's tell a story about life, about liberty, about whatever's going on. And there's the technological part of it. Then there's the advocacy part of it. And it's very exciting. And people come from all over the world. And it's one of the, I think it's like 60, 70,000 attendees attend. And It is like the place to be for the next week. If you want to learn about media, if you want to understand streaming, if you want to understand the technological part of everything that we do, if you want to understand gaming, if you want to understand Netflix, if you want to understand anything that comes across on that television screen, whether it's through a stream or over the air, it happens in Vegas. And it's going to be a lot of fun because you see a lot of people, you meet a lot of people, you do a lot of walking, and by the end of the day, your feet are going to hurt, but you would have learned a lot. So I'm excited. I'm excited to go every year. And it's where all the movers and shakers are too. So Amanda, you and I get a chance to rub shoulders with some people who think they're very important. And then we'll rub shoulders with some people who are actually very important.
Yes, I'm so excited. I remember the first time that I went to the NAB show. The very first people I met on the elevator were from Australia. And I really did not understand how huge it was going to be. My eyes were opened that very first year. I was like, wow. And I did not wear the comfy shoes for the miles and miles and miles of walking.
Yes.
I learned that lesson too. Yeah.
If you want to lose weight and walk, go to the NAB show. Because just being at the convention center is just humongous. And you start out looking cute, but I always carry my backpack with some tennis shoes because you will walk. I mean, it's nothing to do 20,000 steps easily each day at NAB. And then it's also hot because you got to be outside some to get from one. If they, depending on how if they don't have any construction going on. But I think everything that we're going to be this year is going to be in the West Hall. So I think we're going to be okay. I think that's where everything is going to be.
It will be as much walking as when we go to DC for our Hill visit. That's
Yes.
a lot of walking too.
It's a lot of walking. But that's the exciting thing about what we do. We are broadcasters. And people forget that we are free over the air. You can watch TV, you can get news, sports, learn about the weather, watch a good soap opera, watch entertainment. You can watch politicians battle each other. You can watch game show folks go at it. You can get all of that. And it's free and it's over the air. And for some reason, there's these generations that are coming up thinking you got to stream everything to get those things. But all of that's free over the air. And only thing you need is an antenna. And that's it. And that's the exciting thing about we do TV every single day. And I love it. And it's fun. And when we in Washington or in Vegas or even in LA, we do TV, Amanda. And we bring something to our local communities every single day. And it's free. But what we're fighting as broadcasters is that we're highly regulated. And these other guys, and I hope I don't get in trouble saying this, but Google, YouTube, Amazon, they're not regulated. And they don't do things in our local community. Broadcasters, we do stuff in our local community every day. But we're highly regulated. And we need some freedom from some of the regulations so that we can be more competitive. But it's a lot of fun. We do TV. I love it. Broadcast TV is nothing like it.
Let's talk a little bit about that. So, State Leadership Conference is in Washington every year.
Yes.
And we go and visit our senators.
Yes, we do.
And we tell them what issues that we have for that particular year. I don't think anyone on here has ever really talked about that, what we do.
You know, because we are a highly regulated industry, there are things that broadcasters, and I'm speaking about broadcasters, there are things that we need to do in order to be competitive. And sometimes it might be a law, dealing with different rights of artists. I don't want to get too technical on this. Or it might be about the freedom to integrate a new technology that will help a local community. It might be issues with technology that we're trying to advance now, which is ATSC 3.0, which I don't want to bore anybody about that, but it's a technology that would help local broadcasters provide better services for our community. And we advocate for these things on the Hill, and we go talk to our legislators and our congressmen, and they're very receptive. And one of the other big issues that we're trying to keep alive right now, and that is it's almost at the finish line, is AM radio. And that's very important to our community because in certain parts of our states, the only thing people can get is over-the-air broadcast and AM radio. And there are news deserts where newspapers have died, and rural areas where, because the technology has not gotten there yet, this is how they get their information. So it's very important that we keep AM radios in cars so that people who have cars with AM that can have AM and they might not be able to get a clear FM signal, they can still find out what's going on in our community. And as I mentioned before, our community covers a huge part of the state. And we have been pushing that, advocating for that now for a few years, but it's almost at the finish line. And I really think it's going to happen, and it's going to be a big thing. And I know I'm in the television part of broadcasting, but I'm a broadcaster, so I embrace both. But those are some of the big issues that we fight for. And sometimes it seems like it's remote, so far away from the average person. But what most don't realize, we're advocating for things that will impact the average person. And our congressmen and congresswomen and senators, doesn't matter if they're Republicans and Democrats, they always receive us, they always listen, and they ask really great questions, and to make sure that whatever we're advocating for really will impact the citizens of the state of Mississippi in a positive way. And it's really cool, but it's a lot of hard work, and sometimes it can be a little contentious, but overall, it's what we do. And we make that track to Washington. And by the way, our local officials, they know about us. They know us. I see them in the airport. You see them in the grocery store. And they're always very grateful in that we're fighting for these causes that impact our local community.
Yes, I totally agree. And I think one reason you're so knowledgeable about these issues is also because you are a member of the National Association of Broadcasters Board of Directors.
I'm on the executive committee. I'm second chair. I always get it confused. I'm second chair, vice president. And so you have a third chair, and you have a first chair, and then you have the chairman. And I'm on the television committee. And we're advocating for a lot of things to make our community a lot better and for the consumers' lives to be a lot easier, and for them to have, as technology continues to advance, we want to be able to advance our products, which again, over the air, free. We are free, but makes it easier for them to see the things that they enjoy the programming, enjoy the local news, enjoy the sports. And one of the big issues we were fighting right now are sports rights. Try to keep as much of the sports on broadcast television. And I don't want to get too technical, but there was a sports act that came out in 1961 that advocated for all the national sports teams to be able to do what they need to do so they can be on television. And I'm really simplifying it, so if somebody hears it, say I'm making it real simple. But that's something we want to take on, because right now, Mississippi, we Southerners, we love our football. We love our college football. We love Ole Miss right now because they're winning. We love Jackson State because they're winning. But we also love Mississippi State and USM. They're trying to get there, and Delta State. But we love our football, and we will watch anybody on football. And the beauty of it is that our football players, they go to the pros. So we love our Saints, and we love our Cowboys, and we love the 49ers. But the point I'm trying to make is that if you watch the NFL now, it's going to cost you a lot of money to catch all the games on the streaming services. And so what we're trying to advocate is that the local folks should be watching it on broadcast TV. And let me tell you why. Not so here in Mississippi, but in a lot of the markets, the stadiums that people go to are funded by the local taxpayers, the people in those communities. But yet, some of those games are not shown locally. And that's not fair. So there's a sports act, and it's a whole lot of antitrust issues. It's complicated. I mean, it's very complex and complicated. But as local broadcasters, we're trying to fight to make sure as much sports stay on local broadcasts, which is what? Over the air and free. And as part of the NAB, that's something that I'm advocating. And we've written comments, the FCC. The president has asked for comments. The president has brought the issue through the FCC. So the chair of the FCC, Brendan Carr, has asked for comments, to comment about this. And so we're all advocating on why our sports, our Saints and our Cowboys and our Atlanta Falcons should be free over the air, because it's very expensive if you want to watch, if you got to file the streaming service. And then the other thing is, consumers don't know, and the viewers don't know half the time where something is being shown. I get phone calls when a football game is shown on Netflix. Why do you not have this game on Fox 40? Where's the game? And I have to say, well, it's on Netflix or it's on Amazon. Well, why is it not on Fox 40? Or why is it not on one of the other television stations? Sir, it's complicated, but trust me, I want it on my air. So that's some of the things that we fight for. We fight for AM radio, and now we're fighting for sports rights. We fight for technology that will make things better for our viewers and our consumers and our citizens and our local communities.
It will be interesting to hear this weekend as well. When you mentioned the FCC, we'll have some FCC commissioners that are there with us.
There's going to be a lot of FCC. I think they're all on some level are going to be there, because I know I'm meeting with at least one in one of my meetings. But it's exciting to me, because they want to hear from us, and we talk about what we hear about in our communities. The beauty of owning local television stations and also working in local television stations. Our viewers, they know how to get to us. They have that carte blanche, direct contact with us. They can call us on the phone. They can email us. But more importantly, people like me, they see in the grocery store. They see me in the mall. They see me at church. And when things happen, they ask me, when we have fights about retrans and suddenly your local television station is not on direct TV or on cable, they ask me about it. Why is it I can't see this? And I try to explain it. It's these issues are very complex, but I do stop to explain it, because they know, that they can reach out to me. They can reach out to you. They can reach out to any general manager. And we're going to return your phone call. We're going to talk to you. We're not going to ignore you. So, and that's the beauty of it all, because we understand these are complex issues and they're huge. But when you filter down and get to the granular level, you can touch and feel us every single day. And people do call and complain or compliment or let me know what they're thinking, or, hey, have you thought about doing this? But the best part of my job, though, is serving our local community. I love being able to do things, to have guests on to talk about healthcare, to talk about different projects that are going on, to talk about things they might be giving away or entertainment. I love being able to have those people on free over the air again, on our air, to talk about those things. And it's our local community, and it's what I live for. I love being able to impact my local community in a positive way.
You all do so much. You have so much community involvement with your station.
We do. And I have to give a shout out to my staff, because I told them I was going to be on a podcast today. So I have to give a shout out to the staff at Fox 40, because they work very hard. And our big project, we do a lot of different things, but we've done two things I'm very proud of, and we will continue to do these things. One is the local comedian Rita Brent had she decided to do these shows at night. And I actually had one of my employees who came up to me and said, have you thought about putting Rita Brent on Fox 40? I said, well, no. I said, but I love the idea, and that's the beauty of it. As a leader, you got to be open to receive ideas from any and everybody. So when my staff gives me an idea, I'm like, oh, yeah, let's do this. So we reached out to her people. I happen to know, I knew somebody on her team because we got our MBA together. And then we just got to talking, and we came up with a good plan, and the show did phenomenal on Fox 40. And it won a Mississippi Association of Broadcasters Award here recently that we're very proud of. We
Like
won
Saturday night.
Yes.
Yes.
And,
I was thinking that.
the show did, I mean, the numbers, the ratings were huge. It did better than a lot of the late night talk shows in the market based on the Nielsen ratings. And so I was very proud of that because Rita is local. The guests were local. And she did 7 shows, and we were able to run them on Sunday nights on doubleheader football days when Fox has a doubleheader day because the audience are bigger and we're able to promote it. And it was very well, but it was local. It was so local, and it was something funny, and she had such a diverse audience on, her audience was so diverse, and it was fun. And so I was able to do that. And the other thing I'm most proud of, which is my baby, is my bicycle drive. Each year, we collect brand new bicycles for kids in the community. And we've done it for 5 years now, and we've given away over 1,000 bicycles. And I'm very proud of that because we started this with a organization called Good Men of Golf. And we both thought it would be just really good to get kids out of the house because most kids are, tied to their phones or their computers or their iPads or their Game Boys or whatnot. And we want kids to be out exercising. And so we started it with them, and then they decided, that they wanted to go in a different direction, which was fine. But we kept the project going, and the last few years we have partnered with the Mississippi. I mean, with the I don't want everybody to see my girls. But anyway, we partnered with the Central Mississippi Boys and Girls Club, and so we've given bikes out. It's it's from Macomb and Tylertown and Crystal Springs and Canton and Jackson and just all over. And to see these kids, when they get these bikes, oh my gosh, they are so excited. It's still the one thing kids enjoy is getting a bike for Christmas. So that's one of our big projects. We're going to do it again this year. And we will collect a bike. We asked the public to go and buy a new bike. This past year, our partner was Academy Sports, and we were not sure how well it was going to go, but people actually went into the stores. So you got a discount. You went into the stores, and they assembled the bikes for us. They stored the bikes for us. But Academy Sports ran out of bikes a couple of times because so many people came in to buy the bicycles. So we buy bikes for the kids in our community, and we buy them for kids as young as 3 up to about the age of 17. And it's my pride and joy. And we got kids out riding bikes. It's healthy. It's fun. And it actually has served for a source of transportation for some kids. I've had some because their parents make them write thank you notes. But we hear back from some of the children, and they tell us that they've gotten jobs. And how they get to their jobs? They ride their bikes. So that's impacting my community in a way that just warms my heart. I love Jackson. I love Mississippi. That's something that we do that impacts the children in Mississippi in such a great way.
That is so awesome. And we have such generous people
We
here
do.
in our state.
We're the hospitality state. We're the poorest state, but we're the most giving state. And I'm very proud to be a Mississippian. I have lived all over the country, and folks look at you kind of strange when you say, "You're from Mississippi?" Yes, and guess what? There are a lot of other people that look like me, that act like me, that are educated, that are good, that work hard. and it's not about, I say educated because they think nobody in Mississippi gets an education. But even people who, you don't have to have an education to be a good person. Just be a good person. And we have such a diverse population, but they're all generous. You go up into the Delta, everybody is so nice. And those people work hard, and you get good food, good music. You go down on the coast, it's a totally different culture, but it's the same thing. You go up to Tupelo, to North Mississippi, same thing. And then right here in the Jackson metro area, same thing. Good food, good culture, good people, good generous people. Just everybody's just trying to live their lives. But Mississippi, it's home, and it's wonderful. And I love it. And I'm proud to be one. I'm proud to be a Mississippian.
Me too. I'm thinking too, I know I was on the Red Cross board, and you all do a lot for them.
We have done a lot for them, especially during times of disasters. We will partner with them to get a message out for donations. And then we also try to tell the stories that no one else is telling, so that the general public can understand everything the Red Cross does, because they do things 365 days a year. It's not just doing disasters. And that's important. So we try to get their message out as well. And we work with American Heart. We do one of our campaigns. I got to rally behind the men now. In September, we do a big focus on prostate cancer, because Mississippi has one of the highest rates of prostate cancer, especially among African-American men in the country. So we try to focus on that. We do one of the stories that won a top award is Closing the Gap, where we try to feature stories about how we close the gap with healthcare in Mississippi, because, again, we struggle with healthcare in Mississippi. But we try to find those unique stories that talk about unusual services that are offered, or doctors that offer services that you might not know that are free and that are available. And we try to close the gap where we can with healthcare. And so we told a beautiful story. One of my favorite stories, it's about these two sisters who had sickle cell anemia. And they both were cured because they were able to get bone marrow transplants. But what did these girls do when they became of age? They went to school and became nurses. And now they work as nurses with other sickle cell patients and children right here in Jackson. That, to me, is a remarkable story. That's closing the gap with a very critical disease, and they're giving back, and they're serving their community. And their story is such a unique story to tell. And that's one thing that I try to do with our team, and not just on the news, but in sales, in marketing, and in everything that we do. I try to find the stories that nobody else will tell. And if we do that with a campaign like Bike Drive, or telling the story of the Red Cross, or whatever, but we try to find those unique stories, because Mississippi is a unique place, and it has just the most wonderful folks living here. And I'm very proud of that.
Well, we're truly appreciative for all that you do for so many in our community.
Thank you. And Amanda, I learned so much from you, because you do a lot in our community. And I don't know how you have time to be a wife, a mother, a daughter, president of the MAB, and you're taking care of all these general managers who are all over the place. Because you deal with it. We're a cast of characters, and owners as well. We're a cast of characters. When I go to our meetings, I look around the room, and we're a cast of characters. But when we meet, you take such good care of us, and we have such fun. And you're always coming up with unique stuff for us to do. And I'm always just curious about, okay, what does Amanda have planned for us now? And then, how you've taken our organization from There's a song from Drake. We started at the bottom and now we're here. We started at the bottom with you because we were we were at the bottom, but now we're like way up here. And then just to watch you come into um, this industry, you didn't know a whole lot about broadcast. And now you are like a leader, not just at MAB. You started out as executive director, and then you got this huge promotion to president, which was well deserved. And now you are like falling and a boss lady with the NAB. And it's like two people from Mississippi running things.
You're sweet. I
But
do
it's the
not.
truth.
I do not feel deserving, but I have to say that I have the best board because y'all are all amazing. It is always so much fun when we're all together, and it is kind of like herding cats.
It is. But, I have to give a shout out to my board members, too, because we compete against each other. I'm in the same building with Ted. We compete against each other. But when it comes to our community and serving our local community, Ted and Peter and myself and Melissa, we're all on the same page. The radio people, and whether you're in radio or in television, we're all on the same page of trying to make sure that our local community is taken care of, that we're providing those services that are needed. And it's not just about news and weather, but it's about getting information, communicating necessary messages, but serving our local community. We're on the same page. We compete against each other all day long, but we believe strongly in the mission of what needs to be done. And, we've all come through this through different paths, but we've arrived at the same place. And that's having fun working at a television station. And again, we do TV every single day. And I love it. I love it.
Oh, it's so much fun. Like you said, I was not in the industry. People always were like, were you TV or radio before you got here? And I was like, neither one. I was the nonprofit world for 15
Mm-hmm.
plus years. So it's been so much fun. But I remember when I first came on board, the first thing they asked me to do were station visits. And I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely loved going to all of our radio and television stations. And it's the coolest thing because it's like your people are your people and you're
Mm-hmm.
such a family
Yeah.
in every station. And I love that.
But now, because we have an MAB, you are our people. And we are each other's people. And it is so cool. And we have fun together. We have a lot of fun. So let me ask you a question.
Oh, okay.
What has been the most exciting thing that has happened to you? Or what is the best part of your job as being the leader of our organization, the Mississippi Association of Broadcasters?
Oh, the best part is just working with all of our broadcasters. I am not exaggerating. I love working with all of our stations, and it's so much fun. I do feel a part of you. When I walk
Mm-hmm.
in, even thinking back to it was Tim Walker's anniversary,
Yes.
and the very first thing I walked into the station, and I love it because it is so funny because I get from "Hi Amanda" to "It's Miss Amanda,"
Mm-hmm.
and I looked up and saw one of the students that I have met over the years at MAB Day on campus. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize you were working here. That is so awesome. And it's so much fun to see them where I'm starting with them in college and they
Mm-hmm.
work their way up at the stations. It's so cool.
To that point, Keisha Green, and I reminded her yesterday, I said, Keisha, I remember when we had USM Day, Media Day, and you had on your heels and you were looking cute and everything. And you were a senior and you were talking about, your next steps to getting a job at a television station. The next job you got a job at WLBT and you start working at WLBT and you're working at Fox 40. And now you have won an award for what you do as a producer. And just remembering when she was in college And now she's winning awards, and she's so good at what she does. And she's the only one I let shoot my editorials, by the way. She's just that good. But that makes me so proud, and I'm so humble that I'm a part of her journey. And to go to these colleges and see the excitement that there are students. They know about all the streaming, all of that stuff, TikTok, Instagram, all of that, but they're still excited to work in a television station. And I enjoy going to the different colleges as well. But you're right, the excitement of seeing the ones that you met in college, and now they're working in the industry and they're winning awards. And Keisha, the Rita Brent show, and her production of that is actually up for an Emmy Award. And so we just got the word the other day that it's been nominated for an Emmy. So I got to give a shout out to Rita Brent and to Keisha Green, that the hard work that they did, getting the show on Fox 40, all of their editing and producing. The show did very well when we aired it, but it's up for an Emmy Award. So that's exciting. I mean, just seeing everything come together is exciting. I had no idea when I came back home to be a general manager in my hometown that I would have as much fun as I'm having, because I was living my best life in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm not going to kid around. I loved Charlotte. But when I got the call to come back to Jackson, it was time to come home.
And you never regretted it for a minute.
I have been back here now. I was gone for over 20 years, and I have not looked back. I've not thought about leaving, not thought about going anywhere else. I am very happy to be right here in Jackson, Mississippi. And, that's the beauty of it all. Some of the accolades and some of the success, especially being on the national boards, I never thought that it could happen by being here in Jackson. I always thought, it would happen when I'm living in Philadelphia or New York or some of the other places I've lived. But it all happened right here in Jackson, Mississippi. And to be from Jackson, Mississippi, and representing my community, my state on the national stage, I mean, very humbling, such a blessing. That's how God works. If you want to know how God works, I look at myself. This is all God. This is all God. This is not me. This is the good Lord using me as an instrument. And my parents always used to instill that in us. And this is how he works.
You represent us so well, though. We talked about NAB, but you're also on the Fox board.
I am on the Fox board. I'm chairwoman of the Fox Broadcasting Company's Television Affiliates Association. So we represent all the affiliates in the country minus the Fox O&Os. And that's a interesting position. My mother used to say, heavy is the head that wears the crown. I might be getting that quote kind of backwards, but it's a lot of responsibility. But again, it's advocating for our local communities, and it's advocating for folks who watch local broadcast. And we deal with a lot of the same, on a different level, deal with a lot of the issues that we deal with on NAB and that we deal with in Washington. And it gets to be sometimes I try to figure out, okay, which side am I supposed to be on? But, it's again, that's when your faith comes in, believe it or not. And I just say, okay, Lord, let me take a deep breath, but guide my actions and my thoughts, my words, and that I say the right thing and do the right thing. And it usually works out, but it's a lot of responsibility.
That one comes with a little perk, though. Because
It
you
does.
do get to go to the Super Bowl every year.
I do go to the Super Bowl every year, and I get a chance to take someone with me. I'm not married, and I don't have kids, but I've been very blessed to take a family member or take a friend with me every year, and it's a lot of fun. It is a wonderful perk. I'm not going to dispel that at all. It's a wonderful perk.
Which one was your favorite so far?
Oh, definitely going down to New Orleans. The New Orleans Super Bowl and the LA Super Bowl have been the best. New Orleans because it's close to home, and I just love New Orleans. And LA because it was LA. It was LA. But it's always fun. The Super Bowl is always fun. And so I've been to quite a few. And again, a blessing. I've been able to take, my family members. I refuse to take any kid because I feel like you need to work and earn that privilege. That's why I'll take your mama or your daddy or your aunt or whatnot or your grandmother, but I'm not taking a kid. Because they always ask me, I'm on the way, can I go? No, you need to work. That's what do you have to look forward to when you get grown and you get a job. Your parents have earned the privilege to go with me. So it's a lot of fun. And the folks at Fox are really nice. And, just being at the game. The game is nothing like you see on television. It's about 10 times more fun, because it's just always something going on in the stadium, and it's a lot of fun. And that's something that we do very well in this country. Have fun at a sporting event. We do that. We do it very well.
I think you should take me next year, Ramona.
Amanda, I will put your name on the list.
I'm probably at the bottom of the list.
There is a running
are like
list.
50 people on, at least.
But it always amazes when I call up, a family member or a friend and say, "You want to go to the Super Bowl with me?" They are always, I was on the list. Yes, you were on the list. But I always think about the teams that are playing. Who would enjoy it, the music, the halftime show, all that goes into my decision because I want it's an experience, and whoever goes with me, I want you to have an experience. I want you to enjoy the experience, and so it's always fun. And I always bring back souvenirs for folks at the station and my family and whatnot. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Of course you do. Well, we talked about your leadership roles, and we talked about the fact that your parents were educators.
Yes.
And I really feel as we've been talking about this, you have done so much as far as continuing education for yourself.
I have. Besides the programs at NAB and at Northwestern, and I'm a very proud graduate of Millsaps. I went back to get my MBA, and part of it was I wanted to prepare myself for the future because our business is going through major transformation. And the only way that you can really understand change is that you have to really be prepared from a business perspective. Because even how we conduct business from when I first got into the business to now is night and day. And so I wanted to broaden my scope on just understanding all the mechanics to go into the financing and the economics of how everything works, and also to better myself as a leader. I'm always curious about growth, and probably till the day I leave this earth, I will be taking on some aspect of learning because that's just who I am. And I had an amazing experience at Millsaps, and I have to give a shout out. They're recruiting now for the Executive MBA program, which is what I was a part of. They're looking for the next cohort. And my cohort, I will say, was the best. We graduated in May 2024, and it was 16 of us started in the program, but it's 14 that graduated. And we are as close now as we were when we went through the cohort. And we're always getting together, and you can bring your kids. We've watched some of the younger cohort members have babies and whatnot, so we get excited with the babies. But we all very close. We all collaborate. It's been a great process to network. I've been able to develop partnerships that have enhanced the business side of Fox 40 because of my partnerships and the networking that I've been able to do through the MBA program. And if you're thinking about getting an MBA, I got to give a shout out. You should really look at Millsaps. It is a great, great program. It's hard, and you have to be willing to give up some things, but the reward that you get on the other side is amazing. And, I never thought getting my MBA, because I thought about, I'd get my MBA, so maybe I can teach or whatnot. But I'm on LinkedIn, and I get recruited by other industries because they see my background, and now that I got, I have the MBA, I'm just amazed at the other industries that are, the recruiters that call me up to talk to me about, hey, you interested in doing this? And it's not broadcast TV, and it's not going to be nearly as fun. So I tell them no, So no, but I have met amazing, amazing professors and just my cohort. I love my cohort, and we're friends for life. And it was rough. It was tough because I had knee replacement surgery when I did it. But you know what? I got to know the city of Jackson a lot more because we had to spend weekends together, and I found out that Fondren had some of the best restaurants that anywhere in the state. I mean, Jackson to me has the best restaurants, by the way. Madison is getting there. Ridgeland is getting there. Brandon is getting there, but Jackson, they got the restaurants. I have to give that plug to Jackson. And but we spent a lot of time together on the weekends because we had to study and do these huge projects, and sometimes we wanted to kill each other. But at the end of it all, it was all about love, and it was the best experience of my life, and it is the degree I'm most proud of, by the way, because I was the only one in my family that did not have an advanced degree. Everybody else had advanced degrees, but I used to say I made the most money because I was in sales, so that was kind of the irony. But I couldn't advocate for my nieces and nephews to go on to go into graduate degrees. Some of my nieces and nephews had master's and law degrees and medical degrees, and their kids were coming along, and I'm trying to advocate all of this, and they say, Aunt Mona, so where did you get your master's degree from, or where did you get your law degree? And I would have to say, I don't have that. So I needed to get one so that I can continue to encourage others to develop, because I think it's very important to always be in that process of learning. And I want to be very clear that you don't have to have all the degrees to be a successful person. Whatever you do in life and whatever job and whatever career you decide to have, as long as you're giving it your best, then you are successful. And I applaud anyone and everyone for what they do in their livelihood. So I want to be very clear on that. But I just come from a family that saw the pathway, because of the civil rights movement, the pathway to growth was through education. And I'm very proud that I am a fifth generation educator with a college degree. My great grandparents they got their degrees. So, and it was what they went through, I can't even imagine what they went through to get educated back in the early 1900s. But I was the only one in my family that didn't have that advanced degree, so I had to go back and get it. I know I got kind of sidetracked on that, but I had to go back and get it. And, I'm very proud of it. Very proud that I did that.
You should be. I was so proud for you. I will never forget when I got through with my undergrad, they were like, okay, you need to go on and get your master's. If you're going to do it, go on and do it. So I did it. And then they were like, okay, now you need to get your doctorate. And I was like, I'm done. And I was like, I'll just go back and do it later. And honestly, I could not go back now. I would not have it in me to do it. And when I was talking to you and you were like, yeah, I'm getting my master's, and I was like in the middle of everything else, I was like, I am so impressed with you.
Yeah, it was tough, but it was a lot of fun, and it was worth it. But and I have to give a shout out to our past president, the beautiful late Dr. Elaine Anthony. To see what she did with all the students everywhere around the country, that influence, that pushing, about getting your education and having those pathways so that you could enjoy whatever your passion was. She was an inspiration to me. And when I mentioned to her I was going to do it, she was, Elaine was very direct. Well, you should have done it a while ago.
I can hear her saying that.
Yeah, but she was, I looked at Dr. Anthony and was like, okay, she's doing all this stuff. come on, RaMona, you can do it. And then I looked at my mother. My mother was, she raised 5 kids, and she went back to get her master's and her specialist degree. And she was working on her PhD until she found out she wasn't going to make any more money as a school teacher. That's why I can speak so passionately about teachers. I watched my mom do this and how she had to go back to get the different certifications so that she could make more money to take care of her family. And, I grew up around that. So, like I said, everybody in my family had advanced degrees. My brother even had an advanced degree. And I'm like, okay, I'm the youngest, but and everybody said I was spoiled, but it's something I needed to do. And you know what? My family was very supportive, my sisters and my nieces and nephews. My family was they were overjoyed. They threw me a party and they were overjoyed. And it was a great feeling, and it's still a great feeling. I'm very humble though by it. I am. I really am. So, but Amanda, I love what I do. I love my family, and not just the family that I'm related to by blood. When I say my family, my Fox 40 family, my WLBT family, my MAB family, my NAB family, my Fox family, and everyone else that I've come in contact with. And that's important to me. We're put on this earth for a reason. And God gave us a purpose. And I hope I'm fulfilling my purpose by doing the things that are impacting others in a positive way.
We are so close. We're like a family. I'm thinking back, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
get teary-eyed, to my father's funeral, and I look up and there is Ramona, and I'm like, what are you doing? And Mr. Hank Price, and I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we are like a huge
Yeah.
family.
We care about each other, and we have tough jobs to do. What we do is not easy, and we put a lot of heart and soul into it, and we spend more time at work than we do anywhere else. And part of work are the communities that help us do what we do, like MAB and whatnot. And we spend a lot of time. I mean, we do these sleepovers, these retreats and whatnot, and we get to know each other, not just as professionals, but as people, as humans. And that's the dynamic I never want to forget, is that everything that I do impacts a human being. It impacts someone. And there are certain words I don't like to use. Like, I don't like to say head count or employee, because that takes away from that this is a human being. Whether it's a good decision or a bad decision, a tough decision that I have to make, everything I do impacts a human being, one of God's creatures. God created me. So he created everybody else. So, and I think about that all the time. And I think about all the scriptures that were impounded in my head as a kid, and as an adult about God's children. And I think St. Matthew says, whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, you do unto me. So I might have quoted that wrong because I'm bad on quotes, but I think you get the gist of what I say. So everything that I do, everything that we do, as broadcasters in our community, and the things that we do and how we impact our community, that's the essence of who I am and the essence of why I think I'm here. I mean, that's important.
Well, I think you are an amazing woman. And let's end with, if you had to give us just some words of wisdom to end by today, what would it be?
Wow. Remember to be grateful. Remember to be humble, and have grace for all those that you meet, because we are all God's children. And I will end on, I love Jackson. I love Mississippi. And I love being 833 Lanier Bulldog.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for being here with us today, RaMona.
Thank you for having me. It has been a pleasure, a joy, and I'm just so honored that you asked me. So thank you very much.